In March 2016, Michelle ended her relationship with her fiancé following an altercation. Heartbroken, she abandons her home, leaving behind her engagement ring and keys. After driving out of the city for a bit, she stops at a petrol station and notices a truck parked behind her but pays no attention. She returns to the road and avoids calls from her ex, who leaves desperate messages on her voicemail. Michelle listens to the radio and discovers a citywide power outage due to a power surge. Her phone rang again, and as she looked down, something hit her car, causing it to flip, and she passed out. Michelle awakens in a dreary concrete room and discovers her damaged leg. She was given a cast and shackled to the wall. After unsuccessfully attempting to remove her leg from the chains, she discovers her belongings on the ground nearby. Michelle takes the 4-pole and pokes around until she finds the phone, which she drags towards her. Unfortunately, she has no signal in this room. Howard appears, bearing food for Michelle and a revolver on his belt, as heavy footsteps are heard. Howard ignores Michelle's plea for forgiveness and focuses on fixing the 4-bag, stating that he only wants to save her life. He also provides her crutches to practice walking with. Michelle fears her fiancé will call the cops, but Howard assures her that no one is looking for her and hands her the chain key before departing. Michelle attempts to open the door but finds it locked. Michelle refuses to give up and uses the key to file one of the crutches into a stake before waiting outside the door. When Howard fails to return, Michelle becomes frustrated and devises a solution. She sets her clothing on fire and throws it into the vent, triggering the fire alarm and forcing Howard to return. When Howard opens the door, Michelle attempts to attack him, but Howard quickly takes her and injects her with a tranquilizer. After waking up, Michelle discovers Howard has brought her more food. Howard thinks Michelle should be grateful he found her, and when she asks for freedom, he replies there's nowhere else to go. He says that they are safe in his bunker after a dangerous attack, most likely a nuclear one. Michelle is skeptical of his claim that the air is tainted and will only be safe in a few years. Howard believes everyone outside has died, preventing her from calling her relatives. Howard runs out of the room to address a commotion coming from the bunker, leaving her locked up once more. After a few hours, Michelle awakens to a noise from above that sounds like a passing car. She exits the room promptly after seeing the door is now open. She discovers a plethora of goods and Emmett, who is injured with a broken arm. Michelle suggests teaming up to flee, but Emmett fears the outside air is toxic. Howard catches them and assures Michelle that the noise she heard was Emmett dropping something. He then offers Michelle a tour inside the bunker. He is well prepared for this. The bunker is completely designed to look homely, has plenty of amusement to keep them busy and enough supplies to last for years. Howard, who only has one bathroom in his bedroom, instructs Michelle to take a shower without locking the door, as he does not yet trust her. The shower curtain provides Michelle with privacy. Michelle speculates that the power fluctuation could be caused by a passing car, recalling a previous noise. Howard insists there are no people outside and shows her his quiet radio, which is not picking up any signals, as proof. He mentions Megan in passing, but does not provide any explanation other than she is no longer present. Howard, tired of Michelle's doubts, leads her to the entrance doors and allows her to peep through the window. Michelle witnesses dead pigs, which Howard believes were caused by poisoned air. However, Michelle becomes suspicious after finding a truck with blood marks. Emmett tells Michelle about Howard, whom he has known for a long time. Howard formerly worked on military satellites before moving to this farm, where Emmett assisted in building the bunker. Michelle believes Howard is lying, but Emmett claims he witnessed a large explosion-like light in the sky. He was so afraid that he forced his way into the bunker to survive, injuring his arm. Howard interrupts Michelle's explanation of hearing a car earlier and informs her that the supper is ready. During a tense and awkward dinner, Emmett engages in chit-chat, moving between topics. Howard becomes frustrated and tells him to stop talking. Michelle begins flirting with Emmett by softly caressing his arm and following his conversation ideas. Howard becomes jealous and slams Michelle against the wall, shouting at her for disrespecting him. Michelle steals the keys from his belt, then apologizes and pretends to behave. Michelle took advantage of Howard's distraction by hitting him with a bottle and fleeing. She gets to the entrance and unlocks the first door after seeing Howard accomplish it before, but struggles with the second. When a car stops near the property, Michelle immediately calls for aid. A woman exits the automobile and rushes to the bunker door, pleading to enter and claiming she did not touch it. Michelle is shocked to witness the woman's facial injuries, supporting Howard's claim. Michelle finally gives up and returns inside. Howard admits he crashed Michelle's car, but claims it was an accident. When the attack occurred, he panicked and drove too quickly to reach his bunker, resulting in the crash. Howard shares Megan's old clothes with Michelle, and while she sutures the wound from the bottle attack, he opens up. Megan was his kid, but his ex-wife moved her to Chicago, and he hasn't seen her since. Howard closes the talk by giving Michelle a picture of Megan. The three adjust to their new routine in the bunker and begins to live together harmoniously. They cook together, play games, and share personal tales. Michelle, who used to be a fashion designer, doodles on magazines and expresses her nostalgia for the profession. The bunker shakes and lights flicker, indicating helicopters passing by. Howard believes the adversary is seeking for survivors, citing his Navy experience as evidence. The air filtering system in the bunker becomes obstructed, causing an alert to sound. Michelle, because to her small size, is pushed into vents to restart the system. Despite the confined space, she successfully navigates to the mechanical room and follows Howard's directions to restore the filtering system. Michelle sees a ladder leading to a window hatch and climbs up, only to find the word "help" etched on the glass with a blood stain. When she climbs down, she discovers blood-stained earrings. When they are alone, Michelle shows Emmett the earrings and Megan's photo, which match. Emmett claims the female in question is Brittany, who attended high school with his sister and went missing 2 years ago. As Michelle explains the scratched word, "help," another photo of Howard and Brittany slips from his album. Brittany's shirt matches Michelle's, leading the couple to believe Howard was responsible for her death. Emmett and Michelle discuss their next steps when Howard interrupts and advises Michelle to take a shower due to possible contamination. In the bathroom, she realizes she can use the shower curtain to make a hazmat suit. Soon, she and Emmett devise a strategy. While Howard is viewing an ancient VHS movie, Emmett hides a pair of scissors in his sling. Howard's fear leads him to throw away the shower curtain, which Michelle later rescues in secret, citing contamination concerns. Michelle works on the suit in her room for a few days, utilizing various things from the bunker, such as plastic bottles for the mask. When Howard walks by, she hides her belongings under the mattress. Howard once forced Michelle and Emmett to remove a barrel from a cabinet, revealing that it contained a hazardous acid. He discovers the instruments on Emmett's bed and throws them into the acid, demanding an explanation. To maintain their scheme, Emmett lies and claims he took the weapon-making tools to gain Michelle's esteem, similar to Howard's. Emmett apologizes to Howard, who accepts, but then shoots him in the head. Howard explains to Michelle that he did it for her because Emmett would have hurt her if he had made a weapon. Howard sends her to her room while he disposes of the body. Michelle is dealing with her sadness while glancing at Emmett's ID. She is interrupted by Howard, who has showered and shaven. He leaves her some ice cream and promises a nice family life from now on. After Howard leaves, Michelle discovers Emmett's bus ticket to university in his wallet, and chooses not to give up, as Emmett's death would have been in vain. Michelle spent the rest of the day working on the costume. When Howard approaches, she rushes to cover everything, but mistakenly leaves out the mask, which she hides in a vent. Howard comes in to tell her about supper, but a screw falls on him. He checks the vent but cannot find the mask. When he turns around to ask why the vent cap is loose, he notices something peeking out from under the mattress and pulls Michelle away before finding the suit. Michelle runs out of the room and closes the door behind her. Michelle rushes to Howard's room to get a chemical coolant and discovers Emmett's body in acid. When Howard tries to stop her, she kicks the barrel of acid towards him, causing him to fall. Michelle exits the room after the acid begins to dissolve the carpet. The acid ignites a fire and triggers an alarm, prompting Michelle to get the hazmat suit from her room. Michelle uses a shelf to knock over a half-burned Howard, allowing her to escape. The fire has blocked the main door, forcing Michelle to climb via the vent to reach the mechanical room. Howard tries to stab the vent when he hears her, but she avoids each attempt. Howard grabs her ankle, but Michelle kicks him, forcing him to release go. When Michelle arrives at the mechanical room, she puts on the suit and seals all seams with tape. She climbs the ladder, uses coolant to break the padlock, and opens the hatch to leave the bunker. Michelle examines the surroundings before sprinting to Howard's truck. As she stumbles, she accidentally causes a tear in her suit, which she quickly patches with tape. Suddenly, she notices birds flying by, indicating clean air. She removes her mask and takes a long breath, relieved to be safe. Michelle hears a commotion in the sky and notices an aircraft in the distance. She hides after noticing movement in the shed, mistaking it be Howard. However, at that point, the bunker explodes. The explosion notifies the airplane, which begins flying towards the property. Michelle is surprised to see an alien spaceship approaching her. She enters the truck terrified, but discovers there are no keys. She then attempts to use the car left by the injured woman, but it sets off an alarm. As the aliens approach, Michelle flees to the shed where she discovers the body of a woman on the floor. Then she uses a hole in the wall to see outside and sees a thing looking at the automobile. To escape, Michelle searches the dead body for the car keys. When the alien approaches the shed, Michelle switches off the alarm and the creature returns to the automobile. Michelle escapes the shed and flees to another house, but the alien detects her and pursues her. However, both of them immediately stop as they hear a disturbance near the house. It's the spaceship approaching with the bright light Emmett saw. As the spaceship emits gas, Michelle quickly grabs the mask and puts it back on to save the house from being destroyed. Michelle flees to hide in the truck, but the alien blocks the entrance and steals her mask as it advances back. Michelle may now close the truck, which is abruptly hauled up by a spaceship. Michelle discovers a lighter and a wine bottle in the truck, which she uses along with maps to make a Molotov bomb. When the truck approaches the spaceship, the driver tosses a bomb at the massive extraterrestrial, causing it to explode and drop the truck. The spaceship crashes in the midst of the field, but Michelle survives thanks to the truck's seats. Michelle flees in the woman's car and destroys a mailbox with the address, 10 Cloverfield. Minutes later, the car radio receives a communication from survivors, mentioning people assembling in Baton Rouge for safety while another group fights in Houston. Michelle decides to go to Houston to confront more aliens. 10 Cloverfield Lane, 2016 Trap Terror with a Twist. 10 Cloverfield Lane is a suspenseful thriller that throws a wrench into the typical alien invasion story. Here's a breakdown. Explanation. Michelle, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, wakes up in a strange underground bunker after a car accident. A man named Howard, John Goodman, tells her the world outside is contaminated by a chemical attack, and she's safe with him. As Michelle tries to escape, she uncovers disturbing secrets about Howard and the true nature of the situation above ground. Criticism. Confined but captivating, the film takes place almost entirely within the bunker, creating a claustrophobic and suspenseful atmosphere. The strong performances by Winstead and Goodman keep you engaged. Twists and turns. The plot unfolds with unexpected reveals, keeping you guessing about Howard's motives and the truth about the outside world. Limited scope. While the mystery is intriguing, the film offers little explanation about the larger events happening outside the bunker. Moral. 10 Cloverfield Lane explores themes of trust, deception, and the will to survive. It challenges viewers to question appearances and the information they're given, especially in times of crisis. The moral message is murky. Trust can be a double-edged sword. Sometimes survival requires suspicion and resourcefulness, even if it means questioning those who appear helpful. Easy understanding. Imagine waking up trapped underground with a stranger claiming the world ended. 10 Cloverfield Lane is a suspenseful thriller with claustrophobic chills, surprising twists, and a story that makes you question who, or what, to believe.